Well, this is a very special show. We've got Mr. Uday Kotak at a time when things are looking rather great for India. Some good numbers on the GDP. We've had interesting upside on corporation and in this whole stock market mania. Are we really in too sweet a spot right now, Mr. Kotak?
In many ways, I think India seems like the last man standing around in the world with the kind of robust domestic consumption and GDP growth. And you ask yourself the question, is this for real? And it is. The economic growth in India is for real. And what is really working in India's favor really is a softer world, therefore commodity prices not going out of control, domestic demand continuing to chug along, and a pretty difficult global situation at some level is also helping the Indian cause and making it possible for India to consume and grow.
Right, like someone said, when you stand on Indian shores, the world looks rather beautiful from this part of, the globe.
I think India looks good, and as far as the rest of the world is concerned, I believe it's a slow grind. And as long as it's a slow grind and India can continue to build its domestic demand story and manage its current account, India is in good shape.
But tell me, like you said, that you always ask that question, is this for real? Now, why is that question coming to mind? Because there must be some places where India is still soft on the ground, right?
I think if you look at the India story, it is looking outstanding in almost all respects. However, as I mentioned, one area where India has got to really keep an eye on, that is India's current account deficit. And if you look at that, India's imports over exports are running at about $150 billion negative, which means we are consuming a lot more from imports than what we are able to export. And combine this with the fact that the import intensity of the economy is going up as domestic consumption goes up, particularly in things like energy, coal and things like that. Import intensity is going up, and as domestic prices move up, whether it's salary or real estate and everything else, it puts some pressure on export competitiveness.
There is a double dip, another week, the fears have actually receded. How do you read into this extremely volatile situation, not just actually, but also just the sentiment factor that's playing out?
You know, the world right now is in the mood to say that I'm going to prevent a recession come what may. And if it means throwing more money by borrowing as a government, we'll do that. But that itself, you're basically creating a massive bubble in terms of sovereign borrowings, which US and Europe are doing right now. And I believe long term it is not sustainable, but you have to protect yourself from a recession, and that's what they seem to be saying. And that is keeping interest rates artificially low around the world. And that is clearly a pressure point for the world.
So when you look at these doomsdayers, you've got the world economy and you've got the Indian economy. You often want to find a connection out there, but the behaviors are just the opposite. How do you try and take a call on the decoupling or the not decoupling story?
A slow world is good for India.
Okay.
A crisis-driven world, nothing is decoupled. So India actually benefits if the world is sluggish, the world is slow, but it's not good for India if the world has another Lehman-like crisis.
Right. But has the market sort of reflected too much of this growth story? I mean, have we left behind the reality of the growth story when it comes to the Sensex, Nifties of the world?
I think with global liquidity being so easy, it is chasing growth and returns. And we are seeing that in the portfolio flows which are coming from overseas. And at this stage, with very low returns and low interest rates there, it is supporting the asset prices in India, which in the short run, if it enables companies to raise capital, to be able to grow their balance sheets and expand on the footprint, it's a good thing. Having said that, unlike 2007, early 2008, where there was a disproportionate exuberance and hubris in corporate India, I'm finding a more measured corporate India this time, and I hope it does not get carried away.
Right. We'll talk about corporate India, but just carrying on to those two words you said, short run. Portfolio flows in short run are likely to remain pretty robust. I mean, even as we get towards the end of the year?
I think so, because there is a world which is awash with liquidity and very low interest rates.
Right. But back here, we're already seeing a little bit of pressure on interest rates. And inflation is also, well, somewhat trying to manage itself. But do you think then we will soon become a little less attractive than what we've been so far.
See, India's chronic issues are still issues which remain. That is a high fiscal deficit and a weak current account.
But the markets have always ignored it.
And longer term, India has to fix it because you cannot keep on having this chronic situation forever.
Right.
And at this stage, I think the policy focus has to be on fiscal deficit and current account deficit, because a current account deficit is beginning to demonstrate India's uncompetitiveness in the slower growing world.
In the last few hours, we've actually seen Obama come out with a $50 billion package for infrastructure.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about the way we're dealing with policy? I mean, look at the deficits that US is running anyway, and yet they're coming up with these massive expansion plans.
I think Obama's issue is slightly different. It's unemployment.
Yeah.
Therefore, he's going to spend on infrastructure to create jobs.
Right.
Therefore, his problem is create jobs, because so far the slow US growth is with a jobless recovery. In fact, unemployment is still going up on the margin.
Right.
Therefore, Obama has to fix unemployment if he wants to come back.
Do you feel that the policy has been inadequate on the point of view of putting out, infrastructure budgets or infrastructure execution? I mean, look at our road sector. Mr. Kamalnath is a doer, and he admits that things are not going even as the way he wanted it.
I think India's biggest challenge always has not been conceptual, it has been execution. And as a country, we really have to move up the curve in terms of efficient execution. And all our infrastructure projects, as a rule, seem to be taking longer than what they should, and the outcome very often is shoddier than what it should be.
So why hasn't it yet hurt the growth story for FIIs who love India?
Because still a very early stage, you're starting from such a low base that some infrastructure is better than no infrastructure.
Right.
But we are going to face the issue about, are we efficiently using resources of the country?
But talking of the deficit you were referring to, are you more optimistic that this whole ride towards disinvestment, PSU IPOs will actually allow that pressure to go up a little bit?
It will help, but if you look at the 3G surpluses which we have got,
Yeah.
some of them have been used up, and this 3G surpluses were one time. You're not going to get it every year.
Yes.
Therefore, we have to work very hard to get our fisc under control. Because I go back to even the 90s or the 80s, India is still grappling with the same issues: high fiscal deficit, high current account deficit.
Yet you think that most people will continue to play this Indian market despite all of these?
It's because India still gives an opportunity for growth. The demand is strong in a world which is sluggish.
How do you respond to those who harp about India being such hugely overvalued?
No, I think let's divide the real economy and markets for a moment. I think the real economy, I would like to believe that between 7.5% to 8.5% growth is sustainable in India. Now, as far as markets are concerned, you divide markets into two parts: fundamentals and flows. In the short run, markets are driven more by flows than by immediate fundamentals.
Right.
And right now what you're seeing is that fundamentals are moving on, but the offshore flows are what are driving the markets. And you keep in mind another very important issue: India's real GDP growth, if you take at about 8 to 8.5%,
Yeah.
add inflation, you're talking about nominal GDP growth of the economy at 15%. Smart companies can grow at 1.5 to 2x.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, if companies grow at between 20 to 25% a year, you double your money in 3 to 4 years.